All right, good morning, everyone. My remote has died. I got to get a new battery, so I'll be reaching up the. Okay, so today we did this last year. We're going to do it again. Take two, kind of. It is 1,000,000 to 1. Can the Fed draw 1,000,000 fans this year? And we're going to look at some attendance projections. Now, last year, I did this, and I was pretty close. The year before, the league had drawn 698,000, and that was pretty good. But we were looking at 3 new markets. We went from 11 teams to 14, and we're still at 14, but things have changed. So we're going to talk about that as we go through this. All right. Last year, the league ended up drawing 905,000. Now, it was a little over. I projected 935,000. And we had some negative impacts, situations where things just didn't turn out. Of course, when I did it, it was like this time of year, late summer. So we had no idea what was going to happen with the HC Venom. Baton Rouge, there was quite a downturn in attendance. Biloxi, things really fell apart, unfortunately, due to the fact that Barry Saskin kind of abandoned the team as he was owner last year, but there's new ownership this year. So we had some negative impacts that things didn't turn out very well there. And so that kind of drew the numbers down a little bit. But still, I was in the ballpark. So it was still an increase of 207,000 from 2023 to 2024. Now, last year we had 5 barns in the league, 5 arenas that could host the magic number. The magic number is arenas that are capable of drawing 100,000 fans. If you break that down by game, you end up with 3,571. If you average that through the year, you reach 100,000. This year, there are 9 arenas that have a seating capacity greater than 3,571. So that really bodes well. We've seen a move to larger arenas, and of course we have 14 teams again. But we have, in some cases, we're going to be doing a little bit of a comparison. But anyway, so I'm going to look at this. What we have here per team, we have the average per game last year in green. We have the capacity of the barn. If it's underlined, if that black number is underlined, that means it's more than that magic number. What I anticipate this year and what that would break down to total. All right, so since I've been pointing to it, let's look at first starting off. We're going to do Continental Division. I'm sorry, give me Empire Division, Continental Division, alphabetically in each division. Binghamton Black Bears, let's start there. Okay, last year, 43.05 was their average throughout the year. All right, and this year, I think there's going to be a little bit of a downturn. Not too bad, but I think mainly because the big draws in Binghamton are games after January 1st. And they don't have that many home dates. Their home schedule is very heavy in the early part of the year. After February 1st, they only have 7 home dates. So I'm looking at a bit of a downturn. So still, 4,100, I think, is what they can average. That's still pretty darn good. That would be, over the course of the year, 114,800. Blue Ridge Bobcats, okay, they're building up. They're year 3 now, building into a completely new market, and doing very well. 1464 was their average, in a barn that seats 3,650. Of course, remember over last summer, they redid everything, replaced all the bench seating. It's nice actual chairs. It's better elevation with the seating and all that. It looks darn good. 1,600 is what I think they can average this year. I think they're going to continue to build in that market. First of all, they're going to be a pretty good club this year. They're going to be competitive. So that helps. And second of all, you've got a big rivalry with Carolina. A lot of Carolina fans come up for those games, so that helps the attendance. I think 1,600 is very reachable. That'd be 44.8 for the year. Danbury hat tricks. I'm not looking at much change there. I think pretty much going to maintain status quo, which is still good. 1892 was your average last year. You have a very steady fan base. Now, attendance, I put a little asterisk here because there's no really official figure on Danbury. Now, they have the bench seating, which means, when you're packing in people, you can get more in. On social media, it says 3,100. I've had fans that are there in Danbury saying, you're not going to get 3,100 fans in there. Probably on a really good day, 2,800. So I'm going with that. I'm going with your word, Danbury fans, as far as what you told me. I think you stay pretty much the same. So 1,900 per game, pretty good. 53,200 over the course of the year. Indiana Sentinels is one of the new teams, so that's why we have an X there. We don't have a point of reference, except for to do a comparison to another team that they're kind of replacing, not really replacing, but Dashers are out, Indiana's in. Okay, now, they list capacity 1,150. You're not going to get 1,150 in there. All right, 900, I think, very conservative. It looks very much similar to what you had in Delaware with the Thunder. All right, 900 is what I'm saying. I think they average 5. That's 14,000. The team's going to struggle. The team is going to have a very difficult time on the ice. And so it's going to be hard to drum up support. But Indiana staff has done a great job as far as marketing the team, getting out there, out in the public. They've got great sponsorships. So, all right. So that's what I'm looking at, what they do. Now, compare that to what the Dashers did last year. Dashers drew 1,014 on average. Factored in that was the 4 games, that they played in Topeka because they were the home team. So that boosted things a little bit. 28,388 was their average last year. So, you're going down in that department, but going up in other places. All right, the Prowlers, 1,353 was their average last year in a barn that, again, there's debatable information out there as far as how many you can see. I took the middle of the road, 2,800. It looks like what you can see there. With the promise of a very competitive team, new ownership that's promised a lot of new resources for the team. There's going to be a lot of excitement for the Prowlers. Prowlers are a serious contender for the Cup this year. Yes, they are. So 1,500, I think, is attainable. 42,000 for the year. Now you have the Topeka Scarecrows. Now they have, they're another new team, so we X them out. No point of reference, kind of. Now, their barn seats 7,773. That's a lower bowl and an upper bowl. To start with, they're going to work on filling in the lower bowl. And then if they have more demand for tickets, they can open up the upper bowl, okay, general admission. And so in the 4 games that they hosted last year between the Dashers and the Zydeco, the Dashers and the Prowlers, they averaged a little over 3,100. Now, That was exciting because it was brand new. It was kind of a showcase. So factoring in a whole year, I think 3,100 is obtainable. Attainable. That would put them at 86.8. If you draw 3,000 fans for your debut season, I say that's a win. Again, they haven't had pro hockey in a long time. They've had juniors hockey, but that wasn't really a big draw. I think pro can be much better. Now, they're replacing, so to speak, Motor City. Motor City average 1,009, 28,248. As you can see, that's a big, big increase. Helps the numbers out for the league. Finally, we have in the Empire Division the Watertown Wolves. Last year, they drew 696 on average in an arena that seats 1,523. Unfortunately, there's a lot of skepticism this year amongst fans. I've been checking out, the fan web pages, and people are a little. They're really not willing to invest in season tickets. I hope you guys do. I hope you change your mind. But I'm looking at 600, so that's a little bit of a downturn. 16,800. Now, if we total all that out for the Empire, we get 372,400. All right, for Empire Division total attendance. All right, so if we look at the Continental Division, now, for the most part, your arenas are bigger down south. So, we're going to see some nice numbers here. Okay, Athens, 37-33 was their average last year, and that was with a lot of problems with the arena opening on time and, new club. So I thought that was very decent showing. They had a couple of shutouts. No, they had a couple sellouts last year. In an arena seats 5,500. Of course, they break that mark. They were one of two teams last year that broke 100,000. I think they do it again. 3,800. I'm being conservative with the number because in the fall, there's this thing called Georgia Bulldogs football that is the game in town. So I don't think attendance is going to be very good in the first 2 months. But also, I think ticket prices still kind of hurt. Ticket prices are the highest in the league. But I think they draw 3,800, 106,400. So, yeah, they would break that 100,000 mark. Okay, the Baton Rouge Zydeco, 3,074 last year, which was quite a downturn from the year before. The arena seats 8,167, the Raising Cane Center. There are a lot of issues with the Raising Cane's River Center. It's not really with the team, it's with the arena. And I hate saying that. This is the final year in a 3-year contract. So the Zydeco are going to be trying to renegotiate a lease. But the RCRC plays hardball. Not much income for the team. The team would like to arrange a better lease. I don't know if they're going to get it. Hope so. I'm looking at a little downturn, 2,800, 78,400. All right, Biloxi. This is one of the early success stories so far of the year. Biloxi has really changed things. They've changed the culture. They've changed the relationship with the fans for the better. They've done a wonderful job marketing, getting themselves out there, and there is a lot of excitement in Biloxi once again for pro hockey. Last year was kind of like, all right. This year, people are excited. Last year, attendance dropped to 2,166 in an arena that seats 9,150. I mean, it was an ECHL barn at one time. But I think the team can reach 3,000. That would be a huge jump. I think it's very possible. Seats along the glass are already sold out. Big sections of seats are filling very quickly. Season ticket sales are way above where they were a year ago. So I think 3,000 is maintainable. Now, that was the benchmark that was set by the Mississippi Coast Coliseum Authority. They're like, we need 3,000 fans in here. I think that's possible. So you average 3,000, that's 84,000 over the course of the year. Compare that to last year with the Seawolves 2166. They drew 60,634. The rebrand, the new ownership, and a much better lineup on paper. People are excited about Biloxi. All right, Carolina, kind of holding their own. All right, 2870 last year in a barn that seats 3150, so it's always pretty close to full, if not full. They had, I believe, 8 sellouts last year. I do look at a slight downturn because 45 minutes to the east, you have this new team called the Greensboro Gargoyles who are playing in the ECHL. That is going to hurt the market a little bit, I think. Still, Carolina fans are very loyal, very enthusiastic. So I'm looking at a small downturn, 2,800. That's still 78,400 over the course of the year. And that's still a pretty good percentage as far as percentage to capacity. 2,800 to 3,150. Still very good. Columbus. All right. Columbus, there's been a slight downturn the last couple of years. Unfortunately, I see that trend continuing because so many fan favorites are no longer there. J-Mac is gone. Austin Doe is gone. Josh Petrantonio, he retired before last year. And those fan favorites are the draw. So last year, 3486 in an arena that seats 7259. They did have one sellout last year on Military Night. That always draws really well. I'm looking at 3,100 on average this year for a total of 86,800. All right, Monroe led the league last year by a lot, 45.19 per game in a barn that seats 5,700. That's a really good percentage there as far as filling to capacity. Brand new club. I do think a little bit of the honeymoon effect takes place here. There's a little downturn, but I still think they lead the league in attendance per game, 4,300, and that's still 120,400. Still tops the league. Monroe is thrilled to have pro hockey back. Then you get to the last new team, and that is the PD Ice Cats. All right, no point of reference except for, well, last year, this organization owned by Parker Mescal was playing in Poughkeepsie, New York. Things did not go well there because of the previous ownership. You ended up with an average of 505 in attendance. This year, you're playing in a barn that seats 7526, and the team is being marketed very, very well. There's a lot of big focus on the Ice Cats returning, bringing pro hockey back to the region. And they even had a big ribbon cutting ceremony earlier this week. And that was well attended. They had a select your seat day, and I've seen tons of pictures of PD fans saying, look, I got my seat. Here it is. So, lots of excitement there. I think they draw 3,500, and I'm being conservative with that. PD, prove me wrong. Let's push that over 4. But I think conservatively, 3,500 is a good start. That's 98,000. Now, if you push that up a little bit more, you reach this, you can break that 100,000. So you would have Binghamton, Athens, and Monroe as well as possibly PD, all breaking 100,000. Well, there's 400,000 right there. That is a lot. So, what are we looking at when we do the math? 652,400. And if some of you that are quick with math look at these two numbers, you're thinking, yep, looks good. We got we got $1 million. Oops, that is, we have $1 million. We have more than $1 million. All right, yep, 1,024,800. Speaking of not being quick with math, so that is what I'm looking at. Yeah, I think we hit $1 million this year, and that is awesome. Now, in comparison, the SPHL drew 1.2 million last year. Fewer teams, yes, but they're in more established markets. They're in bigger arenas overall. On the average, the SP has had a time of good stability. So, yeah, I think we hit the $1 million mark this year, and that would be fantastic. So there you go. Let's make it happen, Captain. All right, so that's our look at attendance figures for this year. To close out, I do want to quickly just mention, you've seen a couple jerseys up here. You see my shirts. All fantastic work done by fansidea.com. They do hockey jerseys, football jerseys, baseball jerseys, everything custom as far as whatever your idea is. You come up with something kind of unique there. They're beautiful jerseys. They're great to show off your support for your team or to create your own idea. I do hope to be creating some more in the next few months. So just check out fansidea.com. Let them know that Fed League Flash highly recommends them. All right, so there we go. That is our video for today. Tomorrow, we're going to be looking at the trip I took a couple weeks ago to the Rink of Dreams Hall of Fame. Fantastic experience, a great representation of minor league hockey. Please tune in for that. Make sure you're hitting like and subscribe. Follow me on Facebook, very important. All the news as it happens, I print on Facebook. And then when we're here on video, we talk about it. Also, make sure to follow me on the Flash Audio Network. Updates every Thursday through the summer. All right, guys, thank you so much for watching. I am Gary Ryan for the Fed League Flash, and we will see you tomorrow.